it's a school full of happy children, and I think that's really, really important. I think that children learn when they're happy. So I'm absolutely delighted that it's a school where there is laughter in the corridors, where there is purposeful learning going on in the classrooms, and there's a real sense of enjoyment and a yearn to learn, a thirst for knowledge. A great place to be. So I had a fantastic gap year when I finished university and finished my teaching qualification, where I travelled all over Southeast Asia and Australia. But possibly the most fun I had was when I worked on a horse ranch in Western Australia. I thoroughly enjoyed that. I ended up teaching some horse riding, but also just exploring the bush while I was out there. Really, really brilliant experience. So my hero is probably my nan. I lived with my grandparents until I was 14, and my mum was there as well. But my nan was a fantastic woman. She was probably born, I don't know, 1903, 1904, so a very, very different period of history. But she was such an inspirational woman. She'd had a wonderful career. She married quite late in life to my grandfather and had to give it up. And I just have really fond memories of her. She had such fantastic moral standards. She was dynamic. She was hardworking. She never complained, and she always looked beautifully dressed. She was a real inspiration of, just what being a thoroughly decent human being should look like. Well, my perfect Sunday morning would probably be about 24 hours long, which is part of the problem, isn't it? Because you try and cram too much in. So ideally, I'd have a lie-in, and then I'd also have time to have a run before I went to church, and then also have a fried breakfast. So already we've run out of our time. I'd also like to have a couple of hours in the bath and read a book, and also do some gardening. So if you can manage to fit all of that into one Sunday morning, that would be my perfect Sunday morning. Well, I think that the talent show was a real wow for me. So I get to know the children really well. I love working with them. I enjoy, sorry, I'm just watching the dog come in with the welly. I enjoy their company immensely, but it's really lovely to see them doing their own thing. And the talent show was just so fantastic. Seeing them up on the stage, children who sometimes seem quite shy and retiring in the classroom, just being up there, giving it their all. And we had everything from a rock band to a magician. It's just fantastic seeing another side of the sort of talents and skills that the children have. It was brilliant. And the staff team were amazing as well. They did a brilliant sketch in that brought the house down. So yeah, it was a real team effort. I loved it. Now, this is a really tricky one because I was always really good at school. I think the naughtiest thing I ever did was take sneezing powder in on April Fool's Day one year. I was never, ever in trouble. I was that child who was mortified if they thought they'd done something wrong. I did ask my son, who contacted some ex-Danes Hills pupils, as to what they would do if they were going to do something illegal. But I don't actually think we should put that on video. I think we need to leave that to one side. But one of I looked at some really silly laws, and there were two that particularly stood out. One is that if you are an MP, you're not allowed to wear armour in the House of Commons. And the second is that you are not allowed to walk your cows along the pavement. So I guess they would be the ones that I would feel I could possibly get away with, because unfortunately I'm a bit of a goody two-shoes, really. Well, actually, I didn't do very well in my A-levels, and I was always intending to either do veterinary science or to go into business. So initially I wanted to read business studies at university. So I guess one of those two professions, but I'm afraid I'm a career teacher. I was the child who had all of my dolls and teddy bears on the stairs, and I was doing the register with them when I was sort of 4 or 5 years old. I've always loved school. My mum is a teacher, so it was very much in the genes. So I guess really there was probably nothing else that I was going to do. I would want to take my family. I don't know if that counts as a thing. So that would be my first thing, because I have got such a brilliant family, and I would definitely want them there with me. I think there'd probably be some rows, but that would definitely make life easier. And that would include him. My second would probably be my cooker. Not sure how that would work unless there was gas on the island, but I love cooking, I love baking, so I would definitely want that. Um, and third would probably be a big bookshelf full of books, because the idea of having time where there were no pressures to outside life when you're on a desert island to read is just a dream. Oh, I love teaching. Absolutely love teaching. I love being with the children. And I'm very lucky in that I manage to still teach. So at the moment, I'm teaching some maths, and I absolutely adore those lessons with my maths group. I've taught all the way through my career, and although my wonderful PA suggested I didn't teach this year, I've managed to cling on to it. The other things I've enjoyed really here are the clubs and activities. So I run a gardening club, which is fantastic because the children can drop in or drop out. I don't make them come every week. And we have the younger ones coming for the first half an hour and then the older ones, and they just have so much fun. And I love seeing their enjoyment of the garden. And it's great now because the things we planted in the autumn are starting to come through. Well, I have to say, I think it will probably not be me that will be remembered. It will be my very naughty dog, Freddie, who the children absolutely adore.